talk about your passwords while we're on Facebook. So we are now streaming, and I think it's probably a good idea for us not to talk about where our passwords are or they're located. So thank you, everyone.
I was only going to suggest a cheap address book and do it on paper and stick it near your computer, and then just take a minute to find out what your password is.
I have a list. I made a list that I printed, and then I
have hundreds of passwords.
Enough. And I told my children, there it is.
So I'm going to mute everyone.
Good idea.
Thank you very much. It's so interesting how we have evolved in this group. We were talking 6 months ago, 8 months ago about hair dye. Then we went to the vaccine, and now we're at passwords. We are such a unique group that we talk about things and give each other sources of educational information. So it's lovely. It's lovely to be together. So we have an interesting day today. Toby Holtzman and I are holding up the fort, and Debbie Lumpert is doing her God's work. She works at the food pantry on Wednesdays, and that's where she is. And Rabbi is continuing her PTO. She had an appointment yesterday that extended over to today. So what we thought we would do today is open up the microphones and talk about yesterday. Of course, we will be singing the Mishaberach and reciting Munas Kaddish and the list. But we wanted to have a discussion about yesterday and the Masorti Day of study and what you were able to take from it, what you learned, to talk about the sessions, which ones were great, which ones were okay, some of the wonderful professors and speakers. So maybe you could all think about that while we're doing our other duties. And I know Karen is singing Mishaberach today, and Sally is continuing to read the list this week. Julie and Jeanette are going to read the Psalm, and it's Wednesday, so we're going to make sure it is Wednesday, right? Yes, we're going to get the right Psalm up for Wednesday. I just want to say one thing, that I look on Facebook every night to see how many people look at this service in this program, and yesterday there were over 71 views, and the day before there were over 200 views. So I know that we're reaching out, even though we might have 61 people on today, and we had, I think Monday we had over 70. It's just so interesting to me how many more women participate and listen to the teaching on Facebook. So it's really special for us that we are really able to reach out and meet the needs of so many women in our organization. So, was the Women's Day of Study recorded? Yes, it was. I'm not sure where Diane Friedgut is going to put that, but as soon as we know, we will let you know. Hopefully we can get that recording and also put it on the Women's League webpage. So I don't know the answer to it, Jill, but I know it was recorded, and I know the individual sessions were recorded. As soon as we find out, we'll let you know. Okay, so Toby, are you able to put the slide up for Karen? And Karen, can you unmute?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And she's sitting in front of that same palm tree that she was sitting in front of yesterday, making the rest of us jealous. Is it beautiful weather in Florida, Karen?
It is. It really is beautiful. And I have somebody in my house, so I'm hoping you can hear me. When I know I have to sing, I always am inside, but I can't be right now. So, but there's nothing on the screen yet.
I know. I'm sorry. I am trying, but it's just not coming up. I will continue. Do you know the words?
I have it though. I do have it.
Go ahead. I do not know why it's giving me agita, but I will continue to try.
Okay, well, Karen, if you want to do it without, go ahead, and Toby will continue to work. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Mishaberach Avotenu Nakor habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage, make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Yisheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. Okay, so there was a question in the chat. I just want to answer about why yesterday we started at 11 and we were not on at 12 like usual. So yesterday, many of us attended the Women's League Day of Study in Israel, and we have done that a few times, probably 3 or 4, where we've moved up the service to 11 so that we can all participate in another event. Another day, another example was Inauguration Day, where we did the service at 11 so that at 12 we could be on the inauguration. We did announce it on the Women's League Week, and we also announced it in person. I know the day before, definitely. I'm sorry for those of you that didn't hear the message and got on. I apologize. Thank goodness. I think Debbie Lumpert got on with those people at 12 and let them know that we had done the service at 11. And so I'm very sorry that you missed the notice. We'll try to do that better next time and announce it louder, more often, before, during, and after the day before, so that everybody knows that. But we did do that so that everyone could attend the service in Israel yesterday. I mean, the program in Israel yesterday. Okay, we're going to read the Psalm for Wednesday, and that's Julie and Jeanette.
God of retribution, Adonai, God of retribution, appear.
Judge of the earth, punish the arrogant as they deserve.
How long, Adonai, how long shall the wicked exult?
Swaggering, boasting, they exude arrogance.
They crush your people, Adonai, and oppress your own.
Widows and strangers they slay, orphans they murder.
They say, Adonai does not see, the God of Jacob pays no heed.
Think clearly, you simpletons. When will you fools be wise?
Surely the one who shapes the ear can hear. Surely the one who forms the eye can see.
Surely God, who disciplines nations, will chastise, teaching mortals to understand.
Adonai knows human schemes, how futile they are.
Blessed are those whom God disciplines and teaches Torah.
Training them to wait calmly in adversity until a pit be dug for the wicked.
Adonai will not abandon God's people. God will not forsake God's very own.
Justice will return to the righteous. All the upright in heart will strive for it.
Who will stand up for me against the ungodly? Who will take my part against evil people?
Were it not for Adonai's help, I would be in my grave.
When my foot slips, your loving kindness, Adonai, supports me.
When I am filled with cares, your comfort soothes my soul.
Will the immoral claim you as their partner, defending evil under the mantle of law?
They conspire against the righteous. They condemn the innocent to death.
But Adonai is my refuge. My God is my sheltering rock.
God will turn their evil against them and destroy them with their own guile. Adonai, our God, will destroy them. Let us sing to Adonai. Let us rejoice in our Creator.
Let us greet God with thanksgiving, giving psalms of praise.
Adonai is exalted beyond all that is worshipped.
Thank you both. Thank you so much. Okay. So would anyone like to start and talk about yesterday and what session they went to, who taught it, what they learned? I know that there were probably over 75 of us that attended because as I was scrolling through, I was taking names. Was the one, Carol, don't laugh. Carol's laughing at me. Why are you laughing at me, Carol? You know I'm a type A plus and I would do something like
I have a suggestion.
Thing. I wanted to see who was there, and it was so nice to have such great representation from Women's League.
it was fabulous. Do you want to start, Carol?
Sure. So
Okay.
the second session, I actually have my notes right in front of me here.
Good.
So the second session I went to was Rabbi Amy Levin, and there were a couple of us there. I think Debbie Bruce was there too. And she just talked about different things about how to bring family together for Seders, you know, to include, and Adele, I saw you there too, I think. Yeah. Okay. So some of them were great. I mean, she talked about one idea is that you can put a little card with a question mark randomly, and this is, you know, you can figure it out since we'll probably all be doing it on Zoom again, but randomly put a question mark, and when in everybody's Haggadah, or I guess you could, you know, we can send it out through the chat and everything. And when that person gets to that question mark, they have to ask a question. So it's all about asking questions, you know, so it could be a question about Passover, it could be a question about the Haggadah, but I just thought it was really, really interesting, you know, to get people conversing and getting them engaged. The other thing was asking question with our young and our old, we will go. So each one finds when they get to that question, ask a question of someone participating at the Seder that's not part of your generation, whether it's the younger generation, whether it's the older generation, and have them tell stories, especially if it's the older generation, have them tell stories about how Seder was and what they did for Passover. The other thing she mentioned was making a family Seder cookbook. You know, you can, and that's a perfect thing. Yeah, and that kind of ties into what Corey's session that she did on Monday night. Family stories. So you can, you know, now's a perfect time. We've got plenty of time. We've got 7 weeks before Pesach to send out an email, and not just, you know, your family cut, but cousins and, you know, your machatunim, and, you know, to kind of bring everybody together and make this family cookbook. So I thought that was a great idea. Also for the little kids, to their YouTubes that they can learn how to sign the word matzah and the word moror. And every time that those 2 words come up throughout the Seder, the kids can sign it. You know, so, so it's something that they can do, and that they have to listen for those 2 words. And there was one other thing. About the questions, we always say there are 4 questions, but there really is only one. There are 4 answers and 1 question. So that was, she was wonderful. It was a wonderful session. So
very nice. And she taught in our Mishnah program for Women's League. So we're familiar with Rabbi Amy Levin. She's one of our favorites.
Yes.
So Carol,
so it was great.
Wait, so I'm laughing because you laugh at me that I'm type A, that I took everybody's names down. Look at the notes you took, my friend. So thank you.
That was just it was the first session. The first session I went to was interesting, but I didn't take notes like that because that was just something, you know, things we could do right away. The other one was more spiritual. So
okay, thank you, Carol. That was a great review of.
And I always scroll, even every day on Minion when I'm on. I scroll to see who's here.
But do you take names down?
No, but that's above my pay grade. I used to. I don't do that anymore.
So I was on the same one that Carol was on, and I just wanted to add that Sandy Carlton was on, and Doreen and Renee and Marion and Adele and Hannah Lee, if any of them want to add while we're on the topic. The rabbi also provided us with a PDF to print out for later, and other people had come up with other suggestions, and I just want to give a pitch that that your virtual tefillot group is going to be coming up with something prior to Passover to help us have a second Seder's all by ourselves, perhaps, and how to add things, particularly the women, to our Sederim. But I thought her Rabbi Levin, she was very engaging. She was very informative and entertaining, and had a lot of good things to say. One of the other things she talked about was having different people in different locations do the many different kinds of
Charoset.
Charoset. Thank you so much. All of a sudden, the name Achashverosh came into my mind, and I knew that wasn't right because I'm so filled with Purim right now. Yes, to do that, and those questions also, besides being about the Passover Seder itself, to talk about memories that you have, and this also ties in with Corey's thing, to talk about, particularly for the older members of your family, to talk about memories of past Sederim that you have, and let the younger people there know about what happened and pass on that that information and that family history.
Okay.
I'll be quiet now.
Okay, Marion's jumping out of her box. So Marion, did you want to add anything? And then we're going to go on to another session because I'd like to hear about some of the other ones.
No, I found what was interesting is all these years we talk about the 4 questions, but it's only one question. And then the 4 questions come up. So that was extremely interesting. I never knew that. And she also mentioned that you can make puzzles for the children. You can make them yourselves. I know I sold some in the Judaica shop. I had puzzles and I had cards with different things on them. So if you can't make them yourself, you can contact me. I'll send to you. But that was very informative. Unfortunately, I don't have any small children, so I have to find ways to engage the older ones. And I think memories are a very good way to do it. To ask. I try to tell my granddaughter whenever I'm with her different things. But after seeing Corey's presentation, I think I have to start making a book or writing them all down because,
Right. Very good.
we'll be gone one day and then they'll wonder what we did with our lives.
That is.
But I also like the part about the recipes. That was interesting.
Okay, thank you, Marion. We're going
So I think
Marion.
the other 2 covered most of it, yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to another session, Marion. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, anybody else want to talk about another session that they attended? I see Doreen and Adele. Maybe it was the same session. Doreen and then Adele.
Yeah, I went to the one by Rabbi Galinkin. As he's come here to Toronto for many years to do our Rosh Hashanah second service. He did it on essential values of Judaism in times of stress. And there was 3 that he spoke about. And one was, first one was humility. The second one, he called it attitude of gratitude. And the third was hesed, kindness. And basically from everything he talked about for an hour, which was really interesting, it came down to that we should pay it forward. Mm-hmm. That if people do kind acts for us, we should do kind acts for other people. And it was really a very interesting and motivating session.
If you receive his weekly Shabbat message, a couple of months ago, he did a whole long essay on attitude of gratitude, and it was really wonderful. You could probably find it if you look it up.
I'll look for it.
It was great. It was great. He really has a great understanding of that, and he's a wonderful speaker and a wonderful teacher.
Yeah,
Thank you,
it
Doreen,
really
for
is.
sharing. Adele.
I attended the same session, but I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay.
What I did want to mention, though, is that I found the Mariv service, the fact
Oh.
that so many women from around the world were there participating in that service was very special to me.
Very
I mean,
nice.
you know, you could, and all the different languages that they were translating it to. So it was really nice.
Yeah, and most of it was in Hebrew, which is the central language. So thank you, Adele. That was a nice part to ask. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Nancy
Abby?
Goldberg, do you have your hand up?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went to that session and I have to tell you, one of the things he said is like how we look at things.
Mhm.
And I have where I live, just an example, we all are doing, a lot of us are redoing our lawns. It was you don't have to, but my girlfriend was complaining how much it cost her. And I came out of that after, this was afterwards, and I said, you know, you look at it differently. She should be saying how lucky I am. I have the money to be able to do this. And it would like just put a whole new perspective on things.
Mhm.
So
it's what he calls the attitude of gratitude. So
yeah,
thank
it
you,
was
Nancy.
great. Yeah.
Okay. I don't see any other hands. Anybody want to? Oh, Razel. Oh, Razel. You go, girl.
Yeah, I went to the first session. I didn't make it on to the second session. I got involved in something with the office. But anyway, the first session I went to with Rabbi Siklit, I don't remember how to pronounce her name, but she gave a presentation that that brought Ruth Bader Ginsburg into the discussion, and she spoke about a very simple story that spoke about the abuse of power and how by looking the other way, like the whole community is at fault, not just the person who's abusing the power, and that there has to be somebody to stand up for the voiceless person. And when she was talking about, you know, that's what Ruth Bader Ginsburg was known for, and she was mostly known for gender rights, women's rights, but the case, one of her first cases was about protecting a river. I believe it was a river in North Carolina, and she won. So this river was being polluted by some major, supposedly agricultural company, and so it's not just people who are voiceless, but things around us, things that we hold sacred, the earth. It needs people to stand up for it too.
Thank you, Razel. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to take one more, and then we're going to have time to read the list and recite Mornis Kaddish. So I see Sandy Carlton's hand up. And I'm sorry if we don't have time. Maybe we could continue this tomorrow. I know that a lot of you got so much out of it. So
I have one request. Rabbi Lincoln mentioned 5 things in the first session, and he didn't, it was number 4 in what he read quickly, and then he didn't get to that one. He skipped number 4 and went to number 5. But if anybody has that and can put that in the chat, I was interested. But I have another question separate from this. Being new to the international scene, I was trying, when I was writing this up for my newsletter last night, I was trying to explain our relationship with Masorti and in Women's League. And I was just wondering, you know, if it's like, you know, some of these other groups where we co-sponsor, or is it part of Schechter because of Torah Fund? If you could explain that. Or
okay, so as my friend Carol says, this is above my pay grade, but it's not really. So I am going to ask my friends Carol and Rita to help me with this. So, you know, Israel not necessarily being a pluralistic society, we encourage the women in the Masorti, which means conservative, in the conservative Kehilot, those congregations, to join with us so that we can make Israel more pluralistic. Diane Friedgut is actually our liaison, you know, employee. She works for Women's League. She helps to connect with those women in the conservative Masorti Kehilot in Israel. She encourages them to join Women's League, be a part of us. They don't join the way we join. They don't pay dues, but they're welcome to be a part of our organization. And she works with those women. Her connection mostly revolves around the day of study, which we co-sponsor the cost of that day of study with Schechter. And we work with Schechter to do that, to provide that opportunity for women in Israel to study with women and taught by women, mostly women. Of course, Rabbi Galinkin teaches because he's at Schechter and we wouldn't want to exclude him. But you did notice that most of the women who teach are women rabbis in the conservative movement. And of course, Naomi Gratz is she considers herself Orthodox, but she's pluralistic. So Carol or Rita, I'd be happy if you wanted to add anything to that.
Yeah, I would, though we've been doing this for 21 years and Diane's been doing it. She's been supporting the Masorti. And just to make it clear, the conservative movement is conservative here in the United States, and the rest of the world, it's Masorti. So if you go anywhere else except for North America, so there's that connection between Masorti and conservative Judaism. And the study days are done twice a year. In February, which is what we're in now, they do them in the north. Diane does the sessions in the north, central and south Israel. So it's a little bit smaller groups. The agenda for each of the three are similar, but not totally similar. So if you want to attend all three, you can. And that's the silver lining because of Zoom. And in June, there's only one, and that's held at Schechter. It's the middle of June. So that's a little bit. And I'll put a plug in that since we've been doing the days of study, and Judy was the first one, the Giving Tuesday, we started during my administration, and Judy was in charge of that. And ever since then, the monies that we collect on Giving Tuesday is earmarked to support the days of study. And we also ask the sisterhoods to make a donation. So because what's in our budget doesn't necessarily always cover the cost of running the study days, because we do have to, honorariums to all the lecturers and teachers and everything. So I think, Rita, did I forget anything?
I think you got it all. I just want to say, I was going to say about the sisterhoods that we have it for years as a line item in our budget to submit $100 to support our Masorti sisterhoods in Israel. And I don't know if we're still doing this. I think we are, where each region is assigned a certain Masorti congregation or sisterhood. They don't have sisterhoods, but group of women to support. So you have the name, and I think one of the regions has
Central Great Lakes is Central Great Lakes. Yeah, Central Great. So the list is in the calendar diary, which, by the way, we're having a liquidation sale. If you'd like to buy them, and they're on sale for $5. But the Central Great Lakes right now is working with their kahila in Israel and have invited them to their spring conference and really connecting with them. And we would hope that that would happen in all the regions. Carol, I just wanted to say that this year, because everything's on Zoom, the dates are a little bit different. The next one is actually Tuesday, February 23rd. I know somebody put in the chat that it's the 22nd, but it's Tuesday the 23rd. Yeah. And the registration for it is on Women's League Week that came out on Monday. You can register for that. And the next one is in March. So this year, they usually do it 3 different places, 3 different times, February and June. It's a little different with the dates this year. It's all written in the Women's League Week if you want the exact information, and you can register there. Most of us make a donation to help support that day. And as Carol said, it was Judy's idea that the day of study, the Tuesday day of giving, the money goes directly to it. And we did really well this year with our Giving Tuesday, and we were able to support the day of study with more than what we anticipated, and we gave them extra. So thank you, Carol and Rita. I always say it takes a village to do this job. Thank you so much for your help. Go ahead,
Debbie,
Karen.
there's a question that came in the chat about the hours. So yesterday, because they're doing it this time in the evening for them, so it was 12 noon, which is why
East Coast, 12 East Coast.
East Coast, right? East Coast,
Right.
right.
So
And
for-
Sally Greenstein has her hand up.
Yeah, Sally.
Okay, thank you. I tried to register yesterday. Now, when it says you go in and pick your courses, the menu came up with the same as what we attended yesterday. Or are they having the same courses?
No, so I'll check on that. I'll make sure that I,
Debbie, I had emailed Diane because I had messed up my registration for yesterday. I
yes,
a class in Spanish. So she told me that some of the classes are the same, but not totally, that there'll be some classes that'll be different from the other.
okay. So I'll make sure that Rabbi and I email her and get the new registration. So you might want to hold off a few days to register, Sally, until we get that up. It might not go up till next Monday.
You'll see in the registration from yesterday that one of the sessions was a part 1 of 3.
Right.
Correct.
Many are the same, but they're.
Many are the same, but some of them are different. Yes.
Okay. And
then we're going to move on to Mourner's Kaddish, Ann.
I could not go yesterday. I had a previous commitment, but I have already registered for the next 2. So you can register ahead of time.
Yes.
Before those.
Yes. We just want to make sure that it's an updated registration form that you use. So we'll do that. Okay.
Can I just say that I was so impressed with this Alice Shalvey.
Alice Shalvey, yes. Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. She's very special and she always starts the day or ends the day and she's incredible. So,
yeah.
Okay. So Sally, since you're unmuted.
Here I am.
I am going to mute everyone again. And then you can unmute if you are reciting Mourner's Kaddish and want to be heard. Sally, if you'd like to read the list for us, and you have the updated list, correct?
Yes.
Very good. Okay.
Today we remember Phyllis Grusin Weinstein, Evelyn Seelig, Sue Press, Leona Elligberg, Dolores Megan, Phyllis Haas, David Copeland, Ivan Stanton, Hilda Stern, Sylvia Kraus, Hope Dellen, Herb Lubars, Hannah Butt Shimon Vakarline, Ellen Babbitt, Theodore Fishman, Richard Marek, Lillian Tobias, Doris Hildebrandt, Ruth Lewis Bloomfield, Michael Klingbaum, Michael Schrank, Shirley Shapiro, Carol Hope Taub, David Levy, Sandy Ironi, Sandra Silberman, Yvette Caitlin, Rabbi Michael Kane, Marvin Fish, Oscar Warneck, Ilana Finkelstein, Bernice Albert, Toby Case, Harry Polikow, Ernestine Loeb Hamill Erkin, Shelley Barra, Miriam Clow, Effie Polak, Arnie Levinson, Marla Goldberg, Barbara Roth Roberts, Saul Fishman, Davida Shipkowitz, Irv Shapiro, Ike Cohen, Rabbi Stephen Lerner, Nan Freed, Barbara Kaplowitz, Rabbi Eric Wilner, Jace Diaz, Joan Smith, Lewis Smith, Jerry Pliskin, Bernice Paul, Yossi Goldstein, Isidore Goldberg. Are there any others? May their memories be for a blessing.
Leaving.
I don't know, but can you make it larger? It's so small.
Well,
it looks, I can't because it looks huge on my screen.
Oh,
right.
Oh.
So is there someone that would like to lead us in Mourner's Kaddish today? Who is that? Debbie Green? Thank you, Debbie.
Okay.
Yikadal, Kadash,
Dash,
Shemei Rabbah,
Rabbah,
Amen.
Be'alma,
Yama,
Dibra,
Dibra,
Kirte, Be'amli,
Amlich,
Malchute,
Chayechon,
V'yomechon,
Uvyomechon,
V'chaye,
Uvachaye,
V'chol,
Whole Beit
Yisrael,
Israel,
Bagala,
Agala,
Uvizman,
Uvizman,
Kariv,
Kariv,
Be'emru,
Vimru,
Amen.
Amen.
Hey,
Hey,
Shmei,
May,
Rabba,
Abba,
Barach,
Barach,
Le'olam,
Olam,
Olame,
Olame,
Almaya,
Almaya,
Yitbarach,
Barach,
Yishtabach,
Yisbabach,
Yithar,
Yithar,
Yithramam,
Yithramam,
Yitnaseh,
Yitnaseh,
Yithadar,
Yithadar,
Yithalel,
Yithalel,
Yithalal,
Yithalal,
Shmei,
Shmei,
Yisha,
Yisha,
Richu,
Richu,
Le'ela,
Le'ela,
Inko,
Inko,
Birchata,
Birchata,
Tishirata,
Shirata,
Ishbakata,
Shushbachata,
Nechemata,
Hemata,
Damiram,
Damiran,
Dalma,
Yama,
Imru,
Imru,
Amen.
Amen.
Hey,
Yehay, Ama,
Rabba,
Rabba,
Min,
Min,
Shemaya,
Shemaya,
Chaim,
Chaim,
Aleinu,
Aleinu, V'yal,
Kol
O
Yisrael,
Yisrael,
Imru,
Imru,
Amen.
Amen.
Oseh,
Oseh,
Shalom,
Shalom,
Ramam,
Ramam,
Uyaseh,
Hu,
Aseh,
Aseh,
Shalom,
Shalom,
Aleinu,
Aleinu,
Kol Yisrael,
Kol
Kol Yisrael,
Yisrael,
Imru, Amen.
Amen.
May memories be for a blessing. So I want to thank everyone who participated and gave us information about yesterday's wonderful day of study. I know many of you wanted to speak and didn't have the opportunity, and hopefully we can continue the conversation, and especially after the next session on the 23rd. And if today led to any more questions, I love Carlton's question about Masorti Judaism in Israel and the Kahilot and the connection, because it gives all of us an opportunity to learn about why we do the things we do. So thank you, Sandy, for asking that question and allowing us to give that explanation. And thanks to Rita and Carol for helping me through that. As is our custom, we like to introduce new people. And I understand that Edna's daughter, Francie, is on with us for the first time. Francie, would you like?
Unfortunately, she had to go to work. She's working.
We're so sorry. We
She
wanted.
just missed Kaddish. She only had this little time, but she's going to try again.
Okay, well, you tell her we missed her, Edna, and
I will.
we would have liked to have met her. I mean, I've met her, but the rest of us would have liked to have met her. So, okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon. Be safe, stay well. And Audrey, I wanted to tell everybody that I did put your link in the chat for your program, and I will do that again tomorrow. The program is Sunday, correct?
Right, 1 o'clock Eastern time.
Okay, and it is about what, Audrey? Remind
The
us.
title is called B'Yachad, Together in Supplying a Well-Dressed Corpse.
Okay, remind me tomorrow and I'll put it in the chat again, okay?
Great, thank you.
All right, Audrey, you're on.
Okay, y'all come back tomorrow. Missed you.